is going on, everyone? Welcome back to another Nerdiculous podcast. It is me, Drew, aka Revan Kenway here, hanging out, and back again, as per usual, now that both of us are no longer dying of Black Plague, is Matt. What's up, Matt?
Hey, what's up? And man, it's good to be back. I can actually talk and not cough after every 5 words.
Oh, like the last 2 weeks, I finally stopped coughing every 5 minutes.
Actually, I'm still coughing every 5 minutes. I took some medicine before this.
So usually it's like if I wake up, I'll cough for the first 15-20 minutes to get just the drainage, and then I'm like, all right, I'm good to go. Let's do this.
Yeah, it still takes me an hour or two until I can talk right, which sucks because my job is talking.
Yeah. My job lately has been working on all the various 110 projects I have lined up.
Nice. Yeah,
But
mine is similar and not similar to my previous job, but
answering
it's
phones.
hell because they keep making mandatory overtime for us to get caught up since we just launched we took over an older client's work, and we've been trying to get caught up, and I haven't had a 2-day weekend since the beginning of November.
Oh, those are always a nightmare.
And I got sick in the beginning of November, and I'm just now feeling better. How bad is that?
It's the weather. It's the fact that it's warm one day and then cold the next, and then it'll rain for 3 days, and then it'll suddenly be warm, and then it's freezing cold, and then it warms up a little bit, and there's rain. It's just everything's going up and down. It's just ugh.
Yeah, nothing's consistent.
And everybody's drying out.
Yup.
That's the worst thing. It's just my sinuses have dried out, and just because my house is so dry, I was like, I need to buy just 1,800 humidifiers. Make it a
dude,
sauna.
we're all reptiles now.
So, did you see recently the 805 bajillion problems with Fallout going on?
Oh, I chalked it up to one giant problem, and it's the fact that Fallout 76 exists. Personally, I'm not a big fan of the idea of it, but I have heard about all the issues.
I honestly I think the problem is Fallout, Bethesda just stopped giving a shit at some point. They're like, it's multiplayer, everybody's gonna want it, and nobody will care. So let's just throw the game out there and see what happens. Because so many games anymore have just become this, well, we'll fix it in post. After we release it, we'll fix it and just go from there.
I know the topic was Fallout 76 that you wanted to talk about, man, but you want to know what? This is going to quickly turn into what a pre-ordering issue is within the gaming industry.
Yeah.
So many companies have that safety net of, oh, we already got the money, or they know they're going to get the money. Look what Microsoft did with 343 Industries with the Halo franchise.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Well, even Battlefield, the EA just destroying the Battlefield franchise because they were greedy.
Yeah, and same with Call of Duty, even though that seems to have quieted down a bit. I personally didn't have much issues with that. I got it for PC, Black Ops 4. Yeah, it works good for me. But as for Fallout 76, though, I personally haven't played it. I have a shit ton of friends that have played it and do play it, and I've watched.
Yeah. Well, I think I loved
A lot. I don't know how these big companies with teams of people from the grunt level of workers to the CEOs and all the people in between that should know what the industry's like, should know what marketing entails, should know what development is, should know what the standard is for games out there.
I think the problem is
where is the disconnect of just creating a genuine good title anymore? Because there are companies out there that do. I am sure Doom Eternal is going to kick ass just like the first one did. I'm sure that's going to come fully packaged with a multiplayer that unfortunately didn't even get recognized like it should have.
Well, I think part of the problem is I think Bethesda's kind of lost touch with its fan base because they didn't make 76 or not 76, Vegas. They did not make Fallout Vegas, New Vegas.
Oh, okay.
So they made Fallout 4, I believe. But like I get it, you want to make an online game because that's where people are going to, but Fallout has always been known as being a single player game with a story. It, like Fallout 4 was a big game. It was popular because it had a good story to it. And it just seems like they took everything that Fallout was throughout the years and just like, nah, we'll start over. You know?
Yeah.
Like that's one of the things. It's just one of the things that kind of bothers me about the game is there's no real story. Like, oh, well, you're the first people out of the vault, so there's no NPCs. Like, I'm pretty sure there's people that survived the drops, that survived the bombs and could have been out there.
That could have made for very interesting enemies, or like just really, really. I don't want to say dark because not everything has to.
Because
be
clearly
dark,
not everyone
really
came out of the vault.
Storytelling.
Yeah.
You could have some really compelling characters out there.
Yeah.
That like witnessed that, like, and oh man, what the hell was I gonna say? There was something else I was really gonna point out. Oh, I heard that like the final boss was like the same animations from something from Skyrim.
Yeah. Just based on like all the old ones like New Vegas 4, there couldn't have been that many people because there weren't that many vaults. So people had to have survived the drop because you had raiders, you had the Brotherhood, you had the Enclave, you had the Legion. Like, not all these people could have been in the vault.
Yeah.
So the fact that you're like, oh, well, you're the first people out of the vault, like, there had to have been people that survived the drops and just stayed underground for a while, not in vaults,
Yeah.
So that's one of the things that kind of burned me about it, is I really wish they would have had, like, a single player and then... And I think that's one of the problems is so because there's no story, there's not a whole lot to do besides grind.
Yeah.
And I think, like you were saying earlier, is the whole pre-order shit. Just how many games are just, we'll fix it after the game's released. There's no accountability anymore. Like, like they sent out a broken game and we're just like, whatever, we'll fix it later. And they even did that beta. They did like a closed and open beta for people to break the game so they could get it. And there were still, like, did you see the one story of the one guy that was like max level in Fallout? Like, he was the highest you could get, and for some reason there's a glitch and he physically could not die. Like, nothing could kill him because some bug in the game prevented him from dying.
Wow, I didn't see that one.
Yeah, and just issues with places on maps. The fact that apparently people figured out the code for the bombs where they've just been dropping bombs nonstop now. Like, there was a group that I guess they dropped, I want to say like 4 bombs in the same exact spot on the map, and it ended up crashing the whole server. I think they should have, they probably should have waited a little bit longer and ironed some more stuff out to really...
That's the other thing with companies with this shit, is it's like they're getting too far ahead of themselves. And I understand stuff like this is what pushes the bar. I get it. But it's like the same thing with the Master Chief Collection. By the way, sorry to keep interjecting Halo into this, but I feel it's a great reference to empower what we're talking about now, because it's the same issue. The Master Chief Collection, Jesus, released a broken game. Dude, it's the reason I bought an Xbox One.
Yeah.
And it's not until literally within 2018 I've seen YouTube videos of people saying, oh yeah, the game's fixed. Or like they're releasing updates to like fix this and this. And it's just like, that's been 4 years. I gave it a half a year and I sold my Xbox and the game and all that, And like with Fallout here, it's like, again, they're releasing a game with things that are broken, not working. At least it's working better than Master Chief Collection did on release. But where is that line going to be drawn with the accountability that you've been saying? Like, when are it? That's what sucks about this whole downloadable content stuff. Is back in the day, a company released a game, that shit had to work. because
Yeah.
that cartridge or that disc,
Couldn't be
that was
updated.
it. That was it.
Yeah, there used to be no updates. There was a time where you couldn't update a game after it was released.
Yeah.
And I realize that people will say, "Oh, well, that allows companies to really take big risks on a game to try and implement something great, and then if it doesn't work." But it also gives companies the ability to be really lazy and just say, whatever, it's not really working. We'll worry about it after the game's released. Let's worry about
And you know what
this."
sucks? And it's exactly what you said. Both of those different situations, it's the fact that companies are both of those situations at the same time.
Yeah.
They're being lazy and taking big risks.
Well, speaking of like the Master Chief collection, did you hear about just the big fallout with their the helmet, the special editions that came with the giant power armor helmet for
Oh,
Fallout?
with Fallout.
Yeah.
Not much about those. What's up? I know my buddy James, one of my many friends that do play, did get one.
So when they had first announced the power armor edition, they had
Yeah.
announced the helmet, and the helmet was supposed to come in a canvas bag, a really nice canvas bag. Well, apparently, come release day, they decided, nah, we're not going to do the canvas bag anymore. It's too expensive. So they just didn't say anything and just started releasing them with a nylon bag and not telling anyone. And a lot of people got really salty because they were promised a canvas bag. So they started complaining, and I guess Bethesda doesn't handle their own customer support, or they have like a contracting company that handles. But the basically the response was, well, that we just chose to not go with them because they were too expensive and we're not going to do anything about it. Basically, like, sucks to be you, you know?
Yeah.
And I guess they ended up letting that person go, and their initial apology was, well, we'll give you $5 worth of in-game credits, which is nothing. Like, you can't even buy the cheapest thing in the game with $5 worth of in-game credits. And then I guess people kept complaining, so they finally were like, okay, we'll release the canvas bag, and if you go to this website and fill out this information, we can send you a canvas bag when they're made. It's like, do you realize how much more money you spent releasing the nylon bags than having to go in and releasing the nylon bags and going back to having to make the canvas bags? Like, you just spent extra money when you should have just released the canvas bags right off the bat.
Yeah.
And the best part is like, people even said, like, well, you never took it offline that you were going to change it, and then like they were like, oh no, see, it says this was a prototype, and people went and used, apparently there's a thing called the Wayback Machine where you can go to a website and see if something changed, and they like, nope, see here, this is where you changed from canvas to nylon, and you know, we're pissed. So they just haven't been doing themselves any favors of, you know, and like I said, the game's broken, their customer support is barely there, and you're wondering why people just don't want to go back to your game. And I'm sure there's people still playing it because it's Fallout. Yeah, you're hurting a lot of people's trust. Like when they first announced Fallout 76, like all those months ago, I was so gung ho for the game, and then all the reviews came out, all the bugs, all the complaints, and I'm like, I don't know if I want to give them my money now. Like, I thought this was going to be amazing, and now I'm looking at the game like, okay, so I go kill some bosses, grind some loot, build a base, to grind more loot, kill bigger bosses, to get codes for a nuke, to drop on an area, to fight bigger bosses, to get better loot. Like there's no story, there's no like end game. Like, oh, well, now you're the big bad boss and people have to come fight you now, you know?
It's like, where's the purpose?
And now apparently they're selling like loot crates and stuff in the game where like you can spend real world money and become more powerful. So they're basically
Great.
Yeah, I saw an article about it a couple days ago that basically they're now making it play to win, to where if you spend enough money, you could be unstoppable. And then I guess they're making changes to the PvP aspect too. Because before, if you shot somebody and they didn't shoot you back, you could eventually kill them, but it did very limited damage, and then you would be marked. But if you shot someone and they shot you back, it engaged a PvP mode, and then there was no repercussions. And apparently they're making changes to that. I'm like, yep, this game's going to become a grief. This is just going to be all grief.
Yep. That's so unfortunate.
Yeah, because they could have made this game amazing. And the best part is, though, the group that made Fallout New Vegas originally, that the company behind it, is making a game called Outworld. I don't know if you saw the trailer for that.
I haven't. Unfortunately, I've been kind of under a rock lately.
It looks like Fallout in space, and with like some hints of.
Oh wait, Outreach.
Or Outreach, maybe that's what it is. I misspelled it. It almost looks like Fallout in space.
I do know what you're talking about. I was talking about it with people at Steel City.
Yeah. Oh my God, I can't wait for that. If they do that game right, that is gonna kill Fallout. Just the look of it, because it made me think of some of the old games that I've played like that. They had like the space kind of a little bit of cartooniness to it.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't wait for it. If that game is anywhere near as good as it looks, I can't wait. I'm so excited for that. I think it could crush.
Fingers crossed, man.
Yeah.
I want some good titles.
Oh yeah. Speaking of stuff dying, how about Tumblr committing suicide? Or possibly committing suicide?
I think the stain is there, and it's going to be there for a while, no matter how it turns out. Because people, when they try and get a following or get a mini community on a thread they make or whatever it may be, they want something to where there's going to be longevity, man.
Yeah.
And if Tumblr is going to do these things, which I don't know, I really don't use Tumblr. People have told me I should. I never really got into it. I never really wanted to learn how to work it. Now, that being said, I know I'm not deep into it, so I'm not like firsthand witnessing this stuff, but it seems like it sort of came out of nowhere. Like one day it just sort of happened.
Yeah, Tumblr's been around for a while. It's kind of been.
I know it. Yeah, it has.
I think Tumblr's mostly been a place for artists to post drawings, because the problem with like somewhere like DeviantArt is DeviantArt's a big hosting site for artwork, but in the terms and conditions, DeviantArt has the authority to sell your artwork without your permission. So if you post something on DeviantArt and some third-party company comes and says, "Hey, we want to use this," you own it no longer once it's posted on DeviantArt. Because there was a couple stories I saw of artists who saw their work on T-shirts at like Hot Topic, and tried to like file a cease and desist, and basically it was in DeviantArt's terms and conditions. They're like, no, you posted it here, so you give us the rights to it, so you don't own it anymore. I'm like, oh, good thing I can't draw. So I think Tumblr was kind of one of those ways for people to post art and gain followings. But the thing is, like, from one of the articles I read, a lot of Tumblr's community was not safe for work stuff. So a lot of artists that posted more risque things, Instagram models before Instagram was big, who'd post less or more risque stuff, would use Tumblr and gain followings. And Tumblr got bought by Yahoo, I think, who got bought by Verizon. So Tumblr's owned by like the Verizon people now. And they pretty much said, this is a family-friendly page. We want nothing to do with any of this. So we're just going to start striking down anything we deem inappropriate. And I think the funny thing is they went so overkill that they were striking stuff that was not unsafe at all.
I heard about that too. Yeah. And, not to talk bad about Tumblr, depending on whoever's listening this and whatever their views are on this, but to my understanding, a pretty large majority of Tumblr was not suitable for work stuff.
Yeah.
Or not safe for work, whatever the actual acronym is.
It both work.
But, like, who cares? Let that... If that is what is getting you circulation and a heartbeat on a platform that can work financially for a business, let it do it that way. And if you own it now, it is not hard to copy and paste whatever that type of coding is. Create a new platform. You said Verizon or something big like that bought it?
Yeah.
They sure as hell have money. Develop a new platform. I could go for a new platform. Something
Yeah.
that actually works. Shit, dude. Bring me back Vine.
Yeah. Well, I think the
'Cause TikTok
problem
ain't
is.
cutting it.
Yeah, I think the problem is, um, a site like Tumblr can't make you money because it's
But
not
it gets
advertiser
you a
friendly.
following that you can transition that following
Yeah,
to
for
YouTube
the
stuff.
individual artists, but I mean for the Tumblr themselves, for the people that run Tumblr, they can't really advertise because you like have a family friendly company, say like Verizon. Verizon wants to put ads. You don't want to put ads on something where it's half naked cartoon characters every third picture. You know, people aren't going to come to that site. So you're going to have people like Coke and Pepsi aren't going to want to advertise on your page because they're like, well, this isn't family friendly. You know, like I don't want this. I don't want my ads being put next to it. That's why YouTube like had such a big panic attack
Now,
because
see, with YouTube, I get it. They want big boss companies doing ads. But with stuff like Tumblr, I know Tumblr is very huge too. It kind of
Yeah.
almost goes hand in hand with YouTube. I'm not neglecting
Yeah.
how popular Tumblr is, but for them to think that there aren't companies out there that will cater and actually have their ads on a place like that, that
Oh,
won't
yeah.
have their ads, I mean, they're wrong. There are companies that will still pay to put their ads on that place.
but
And
you
maybe those companies are companies that are also more adult themed things. But that's money you're getting, isn't it?
Yeah, but you still want to
And
be very careful about because you want to be very family friendly to where you can um, sell more ads because you can get X amount of ads for this, but if you're family friendly, well then you can get double the companies you would if you weren't family friendly.
but see, that's where the greed comes in, and I get it, but at the same time, it makes me shake my head
Yeah. Oh yeah.
because if every place has to be clean and squeaky and happy and PG like YouTube, I'm not saying everything has to be mature rated. I'm not
Yeah.
saying everything has to be sexual. I'm not saying everything has to be bloody and whatever the case. But where is the platform on the internet to where people who want more mature rated content that isn't a goddamn porn site, like some place that is actually just like, oh, I could watch like really scary, messed up stuff, or like, okay, this is sort of risque and like lewd type
Yeah.
photos or videos that people make, and where's the platform to where that stuff can be viewed?
Yeah. Or you want to be able to read books or listen to audiobooks.
Oh yeah, that stuff too. Like not even just visual stuff. Like what about the literature side
Yeah.
of this too? You know, there's so many aspects. It's just like where where can this place where can this stuff find a home?
Oh yeah. But speaking of homes, have you seen all the people that are coming out to sue Fortnite because Fortnite is now the home to everybody's dance moves?
Really?
Yeah. So, have you played Fortnite at all?
All I'm gonna say is that yes, I have
Okay.
for one night,
So one
and
of
go on.
one of the big draws to Fortnite is just the amount of dances. Just like, there's all kinds of dance moves. Like you just, and the thing is, a lot of the dance moves are like the Carlton, was it Snoop Dogg's
I could-
little dance?
I could shuffle.
So they've used a lot of dances. Well, apparently it's coming out now that people are suing them because they're like, well, I own the copyright to this song or to this dance. You know, like I am the originator of this dance, and you did not ask me for permission. You did not, pay me for it. So like the guy who played Carlton from Fresh Prince is suing them. The kid who did the floss dance at the Katy Perry music video is apparently suing them, but they have proof that he didn't originate the dance. So like there's videos from even before that kid of the dance, So I'm wondering how he can sue if he's not the originator. You know, like okay, he
Yeah.
popularized it, but if he's not the original,
Can I just say that I hope Fortnite loses everything?
it's gonna be hard though because one of the problems with dance moves is you can't really copyright a dance move.
No, I totally agree with you. I hope the worst for
But then
Fortnite.
how
That's
can
me.
but so if you can't copyright a series of dance moves, how can you copyright a series of strums or a series of words put together in a song, you know?
Yeah,
Because those are the
exactly.
same thing. Like, okay, I put these words together to form a song, or I strummed these chords to make a song. That's the same thing. You know, like if you can't copyright moving in a certain way, why should you be able to copyright strumming a guitar in a certain way or playing the drums in a certain way, you know? Like
I know
why are we
exactly
drawing
what
the
you
line
mean.
there?
Yeah.
Like I realize like people could be like, oh, like they could just like flail about like, okay, that's dance, I copyright that. Where like at least a song you'd have to put them together in a rhythmic fashion. I don't know. I feel like Fortnite should have at least been like, okay, here's like a couple $1,000s for each person to make a dance move, you know. But it's gonna be hard now because Fortnite's such a huge game that everyone's gonna want tons of money off of it now. So I think that's what the problem is. Is Fortnite didn't know if they were gonna like if this battle royale was gonna be popular, and then it blew up so big that they probably were like, no one's really gonna pay attention to all these dance moves, you know.
Yeah.
So it's probably one of those
But
things. It's better to ask for
people did.
I think it's one of those things. It's better to ask for forgiveness than it is for permission.
Yeah.
But like I said,
And
I
I'll crash birds anyway.
yeah, I'm not a really big fan of Fortnite. I've played it a handful of times. I've won one game. And I was like, yeah, I'm done with this game. I don't like how random it is. Like I understand like every battle royale game has something random to it, but the problem is the guns are random themselves. Like even if you get a gold tier gun, there's still no guarantee that you're gonna hit those shots because there's like a bloom effect. Like I've watched pro streamers with high tier guns that play the game nonstop get roasted in a one-on-one gun battle with a guy shooting a gun 2 tiers below his and just like looking at the screen like, what was that? Like I had a gold tier gun, how did none of those hit him?
Yep. That's actually my key point of why I hate that game.
Yeah, so that's one of
So
the
many other
reasons why I've
games
kind
do
of
a bloom effect on the reticle,
yeah.
and they're not messed up. Fortnite, it's like, oh, hold my beer,
Yeah.
and let's just totally mess it up.
It
I
it
hate
should
that game so much. Dude. I was at Taco Bell the other day. All right, there was a kid. His head maybe came up to my hip, dude. All right, he was already rambunctious as shit, so he was already on my nerves. All right, sorry, I'm like talking with congestion, dude. This kid turned to me, he looked at me right in the eyes. I looked at him back. I was just like, oh, okay, like, and then he just did the fucking loser sign with his hand on his forehead and started kicking his legs out side to side. That one dance. He
it's
just
like
started staring at me and doing it, dude.
that's when you like shake your head and go, we need a new perch. I was telling my
I
friend.
actually texted that to someone, I think, after that. I was like, we need a crusade or something. I texted something ridiculous to someone. But, dude, I wanted to, no pun intended, my knee-jerk reaction was, I want to punt this kid. Like, oh, dude.
Bill, you should have walked up to him and be like, should have looked at him and be like, shouldn't she be in bed right now? Like where's your mom at? Shouldn't she have a leash on you? Clearly, you are a small child who should not be away from their parent.
Oh, he was right there with his parents.
No. You should have looked at the
Parents
mom and be
just
like,
ignored it.
you should have a leash on that.
They were too busy ordering their food.
Ugh.
It infuriated me.
Yeah, that's.
Because if my hatred for Fortnite wasn't enough, I saw horrible things like that. Oh, dude, we go to conventions, and I don't even see shit that bothers me as much as that did. Like,
You know what actually made me laugh? And this is really off topic, like just out of right field, because I was
hit me
looking.
with it.
Did you see the video? It was somewhere in the city of Pittsburgh. It was at a mall, and this lady was asking. There was a group of people that were showing off service dogs. Like, hey, you know, like if you need a service dog.
I did.
And she was like making threats or whatever because they wouldn't let her pet the dog. She's like, how dare you? This is my, like, she went and got her child and was like throwing a big fit. Like, do you not understand what a service dog is?
Yeah.
Like, I didn't see the full video, but I just saw somebody posted a meme of it. What do you mean I can't pet your service dog? I'm calling my lawyer. Did she really say she was going to sue them?
I can't remember. It was late at night when I saw it. It's like one of those things I watched right before I passed out. All I could say is, depending on how all that truly went down off camera before and after, let her file the lawsuit. Let her get the red carpet into the court building.
She will be laughed out so hard.
And let her get roasted.
Yeah,
dude.
they're calling a entitled beanie mom. That's her meme name. Entitled beanie mom.
I'm glad she made a name for herself, and I hope that kid does not grow up with that embarrassment. Although, like,
I feel bad for that kid. She's gonna get older and be like, "Oh my God, mom, you're a meme. Why did you have to do this to me?" I love memes, but this was a good talk, and
yeah, it was
definitely good stuff. We'll have to do a Christmas one too while we're at it. Talk about all the Christmas movies.
Yeah, we gotta talk about Jingle All the Way.
Oh yeah. All right, thanks for tuning in, guys. Matt, thanks for hanging out with me, and we'll be back with another podcast.